ran into the woods. She collapsed in the cold, shallow water, not killed by attackers, not murdered. She had been running from the monsters in her mind. But in the end, they caught her, vanished in the dark. The haunting mystery of A.A. Quintal. The night of October 17, 2019 was cold and silent in the deep wilderness of northern Michigan. Miles away from the nearest neighbor, a remote two-story family cabin stood alone, surrounded by towering trees and the thick, suffocating blackness of the forest. Inside, A.A. Quintal, a 47-year-old woman, sat wide awake, frustration creeping in. She had taken a sleeping pill more than an hour ago, but sleep refused to come. The shadows in the corners of the room seemed to shift as the dim cabin lights flickered against the polished wooden walls. Her dog, a loyal companion to her solitude, rested by the door, ears occasionally twitching at the nocturnal sounds beyond the cabin's walls. The unsettling stillness of the place gnawed at her nerves. She needed air. Slipping on a jacket, she grabbed her flashlight and stepped outside into the suffocating darkness. The cold night air bit at her skin as she pulled out a cigarette, her fingers fumbling slightly as she lit it. The only sound was the rhythmic crunch of her footsteps on the gravel path. Somewhere deep in the trees an owl hooted. Her dog suddenly stiffened, his ears perked up, a low growl rumbling from deep in his throat. Something was out there. A prickle of unease crept up her spine. Instinctively, A.A. raised her flashlight, its bright beam cutting through the ink-black void of the trees. And then, eyes. Two pale, glowing orbs reflected the light, staring directly at her. Her breath caught in her throat. A mountain lion. She could see its muscular body partially hidden in the underbrush, its poised stance. The predator's unwavering gaze locked onto her. Her heartbeat thundered in her chest as she slowly reached into her pocket, fingers curling around the cold grip of her 9mm pistol. But before she could pull it free, the mountain lion blinked once, then vanished into the darkness. The forest swallowed it whole. A.A. exhaled sharply, forcing her shaking fingers to work as she tugged her dog sleeve, practically dragging him back toward the cabin. The feeling of being watched lingered. Something outside. Back inside, she locked the door behind her, breathing deeply to calm her racing heart. The warm glow of the lights inside should have brought her comfort. They didn't. She grabbed her phone and sent a quick text to her boyfriend, telling him about the mountain lion encounter. But even as she hit send, a different kind of unease settled over her. The night outside pressed against the cabin, the trees shifting like silent watchers beyond the windows. Then, snap. The sound was faint but unmistakable, a twig breaking. A.A.'s breath hitched. She turned toward the living room window. The glass reflected the inside of the cabin, her own face staring back at her, eyes wide with anxiety. Beyond the reflection, just past the glow of the porch light, something moved. Was it the mountain lion? No, it was taller. A human shape, standing there, watching, motionless. Her blood ran ice cold. In a blur of motion, she grabbed her gun from the coffee table and dove behind the couch, heart hammering in her chest. Her voice trembled as she shouted toward the window, "I'm armed. If you come in here, I'll shoot." Silence. Only the wind whispered against the glass, the distant cry of an owl breaking the eerie stillness. Then, footsteps on the porch, the attack. A.A.'s shaking fingers dialed her boyfriend's number. No answer. Desperation mounting, she called a friend. As soon as the friend picked up, A.A. began to cry, words tumbling over each other in breathless terror. "There's someone outside. I saw them. I don't know if I'm imagining this, but I swear I saw them." Her friend's voice was steady. "I'm calling the police." No, wait. She had to be sure. Gun in hand, she crept toward the kitchen window, the one overlooking the front porch. Slowly, cautiously, she peered through the glass. Nothing. No one was there. A.A. let out a nervous laugh, pressing her forehead against the cool glass. She was being paranoid. Just as she was about to reassure her friend, she turned slightly and froze. At the living room window, where she had looked just minutes ago, two figures now stood, watching her. Guns raised. Before she could think, before she could scream, before she could even take another breath, they fired. Glass shattered as bullets tore through the room. AA ducked and fired back, her gun exploding in the enclosed space. The force of it rattled her bones, her ears ringing. She saw one of the intruder's head snap back as if struck. Then silence. No more gunfire, no movement. Then footsteps upstairs. She wasn't alone.